Hello everyone, Fru here. Welcome to today's relevant read. So guys, in today's read, we're going to be looking at this very fascinating article. Let me zoom in here. And the article is going to talk about the 15 best LinkedIn profile tips to make your profile pop. Guys, so we're going to look at the 15 best LinkedIn profile tips to make your profile pop or to make your profile stand out on LinkedIn. All right, most of us do have LinkedIn as professionals, and LinkedIn is playing a very important role in our careers these days. Whether you are looking for a job or you currently have a job and you just want to cover your bases, LinkedIn can be a very powerful tool to help you grow your career in the long term. So let's step back a little bit and look at an infographics that I came across to really make the case home for why LinkedIn is such a powerful tool to have within your tool belt. So to start, I'm going to share this infographics on the screen that I captured on the web and zoom in a little bit. And so it might not be clear on the screen, bear with me on that. But it talks about, reasons why recruiters are leveraging LinkedIn. But more specifically, I want to call attention to this area here and this number. And what this talks about is 97% of recruiters use LinkedIn to find job candidates. Guys, this just blows my mind. If this doesn't blow your mind away, I don't know what does, right? 97% of recruiters use LinkedIn to find job candidates. 97%. All right, guys. And 64% only use LinkedIn, right? So that's even more fascinating, right? So there are just recruiters that will not use anything else, only LinkedIn to find candidates. But 97% using LinkedIn to find candidates tells me that, guys, if you're looking for a job, you cannot ignore LinkedIn, guys. Or if you're ignoring LinkedIn, you have to do so at your own peril, right? It's at your own detriment for you to ignore LinkedIn. And this is compared to about 27% that use Twitter, or 22%, even less, that use Facebook. And this goes to that whole mindset that Facebook and Twitter are more personal, Facebook more so than Twitter even. But LinkedIn is really very professional, right? And that's really been the driving or the theme behind LinkedIn, where it's more of a professional thing. And it's no surprise to me that 97% of recruiters are using LinkedIn to find job candidates. So if you are in the job market, or you're thinking about being in the job market at any point in your life, right? And who wouldn't be in that position at some point, right? So LinkedIn is definitely something that you really want to pay very serious attention to. You cannot afford to ignore LinkedIn. And this is not just a matter of, oh, I have a LinkedIn profile and we'll see how that goes. No, guys, this should be your number one strategy. Just like, when you look at people and you ask them, you're looking for a job, do you have a resume? And you cannot inquire that way, guys. LinkedIn is that important. It's really that important for job candidates, or for professionals in general, in IT, in any field that you might be specializing. We cannot afford to ignore LinkedIn. All right. So let's go back into this article. And this article is coming from a blog, Science of People, by Vanessa Van Hersen. I believe that's her name. It's a fascinating read when I went through the first time, and I really liked some of the points that she made. So definitely make sure, as always, we're gonna leave a link to this directly to this article in the description below. So if you want to check it out, you're gonna have access to check it out and read all the details for yourself. There are a lot of links, there are a lot of hyperlinks in here that she provided in this article, and I really had a great time reading it. But more importantly, I think that the 15 tips are just invaluable. These are just things that you definitely want to be thinking about as you embark on your strategy for optimizing LinkedIn to help your career grow in the long term. All right, guys. So let's get started. As usual, I'm going to skip the first couple of things. I like the structure of the article. It does have almost like a table of content in here with the 15 things. And you can sort of click the hyperlink and it takes you directly to it. But what we're going to do is we're just going to read the article and break it down as we go. 15 is a lot, so I might go through some of them very fast, but I'll try to make sure we call out the important points for each of them with some commentary as we go for each of the points. Now, guys, if you don't know what LinkedIn is, I'll just do a little bit of a service here to step back on LinkedIn. It's linkedin.com. This is it was a private company. Well, I'm not sure private, but eventually bought by Microsoft. So Microsoft now owns LinkedIn. It looks almost like Facebook if this is your first time seeing it, but it's really used for professionals, and it's almost like your digital resume. What it allows you to do, you have a profile and a picture, right, similar to Facebook or any other social media platform, and you can write a little bit about yourself, again from a professional mindset, and you can put some of your experience there on LinkedIn. As of now, that's what I have, all the way down to previous experiences. You can talk about your education, guys. So I have my bachelor's, my master's degree. You can highlight that, your volunteer experiences, some of your skills, and people can endorse you on the skills that you have, recommendations from people, guys. So you can definitely put that in there, right? Accomplishments and interests. So this kind of gives you a good professional a view online, similar to what a resume would do, but this is almost like a living resume because you can always update this, right? And then you can have a title, introduction here, and so that's what I have for mine. Now as we go through, I might be referencing my LinkedIn profile. I don't think that mine is a gold standard, but again, we all have to learn and to grow. So I'll be using some references to mine, either for as good things that I'm doing or pointers of things that you should avoid that I feel like are not working for me, so that we can all learn from LinkedIn. All right, guys. So let's switch back over to this. So what it talks about here is to post thematic updates on LinkedIn. All right. You can go ahead and read what she talks about, but the main idea being that what people always think about when they think of LinkedIn is, well, I'm going to come to LinkedIn and I'll create a profile. I'll create a profile and it's like a resume. So I'll have a job. And so once I create my profile, that's it. I'm done. Nothing else. Guys, if that's your approach, it doesn't necessarily work that way, right? What she's recommending is you want to be active. You want to be able to leverage your LinkedIn strategically to post updates, right? And these are updates about industry news. These are updates around insider knowledge, inspiration, personal advice, whatever it is that you can post. You want to definitely be able to do that on LinkedIn, and that would definitely be able to help your career for the long term. So you definitely want to go into LinkedIn and be able to make posts and do updates as such, and that will help your career for the long term. So let me actually go back and show us how LinkedIn, if you go to the feed, so it does have a feed, you can go ahead and write a post here. You can share it for everyone, or you can share it to particular groups as well, right? So you can share images, videos, or write an entire article on LinkedIn. And this is more if you're doing more long form type of content. You definitely want to take advantage of it. It's a great opportunity to establish yourself as somebody that's knowledgeable in the industry. So let's say you're doing database administration, or you're doing big data, or you're doing machine learning. You come across this amazing article on machine learning or big data or being a DBA. Why not share it on LinkedIn, right? So on my feed, I see a lot of posts that people are sharing. So a lot of people are sharing updates, guys, and I'm consuming that. So if there was something that I found that was interesting, it will be worthwhile for me to go ahead and share it. And the more you share it, the more your profile is coming up on the feed, the more people are seeing you as somebody that's active, and the more your credibility is growing within the field. So it's a very powerful tool to use from a professional perspective to really establish yourself as a leader, as a thought leader, or somebody who contributes in the industry. Very, very powerful, guys. All right. And you can choose a dimension, right? You could just be industry news. What's happening in industry, in tech? What's happening or you can choose more on the inspirational side of things, guys. Depending on the dimension that you're more inclined to, guys, you can always find content, pictures, images, videos, things that are amazing. Of course, if you're having pizza for breakfast, I don't think a lot of people on LinkedIn will care for that, guys. So you just have to understand the differences between LinkedIn and something like Facebook, which is more personal, whereas LinkedIn is really more for knowledge and information and things that are geared towards more of the professional type of scenarios. All right. So the next thing that this article talks about is to be a strategic liker. So of course, you're going to be posting things for people to see, guys, and other people will be posting their own things. So one way that you can really establish yourself in the industry is somebody posts something and you read it and you like it, and you really like it. I mean, liking it from the sentiment point of view, then show it by actually liking the update on the feed. So let's say if I'm scrolling down and I come across, this is just the first thing on my feed as of making this video, an ingenious way to take over water fountain with a trusted brand, blah blah blah. Assuming that I really like this, yeah guys, you want to show your sentiment, go ahead and like it, guys. And that engagement, shows, makes your name stand out, makes your name come up in the feed. It creates goodwill for other people. If I share content, I would like if other people like it, guys. And if other people share content, you definitely want to reciprocate by liking it, guys. It's not good, and or let me put it this way, right? You don't want to be a fly on the wall, right? I don't think LinkedIn is really for that. A lot of people seem to think that way, right? Where they just have a LinkedIn profile and they forget about it. The idea being that, if you have a LinkedIn profile, be active, engage, like what other people are sharing, and that way, if you share your stuff, other people are gonna reciprocate and like it, and it shows that your profile is more active. And when recruiters are looking at your LinkedIn profile and they're seeing the kind of things you're liking, they're seeing that you're liking DBA stuff, you're liking machine learning, guys, you're liking big data, IoT, right? Or you're liking project management stuff. It now starts associating you with that kind of areas and builds more credibility for you than if you decide to be passive. All right, so don't be passive. Don't be passive. That's the takeaway for this one. Don't be passive. Make sure you engage. Be somebody that engaged. Don't be a fly on the wall, guys. Don't be a fly on the wall. All right, now make your resume, make your profile more than your resume. I think the first two pieces have kind of really pointed to that direction where this entire article is going, guys. LinkedIn is not just a resume that you have online and you forget about it, right? If you think about your resume, you think about you've written something, you've maybe printed it out, or it's a PDF, and you don't update it until you're looking for a job, 2 or 3 years down the line. No, LinkedIn is a living environment. It's just like your Facebook is a living environment. LinkedIn is living, guys. You want to be active every once in a while. You want to come in, engage, like people. If something changes in your situation, you definitely want to. Let me open another tab here. If something changes on your profile, guys, if you get a new volunteer experience, you want to come to volunteer experience and add there. If you get a new skill or a new certification, you want to add there, right? If you work with somebody and they're leaving, you want to ask for recommendation, you can go ahead and ask them, right? So you want to keep this living and always up to date. So it's not just like your resume that you write and you forget, guys, but you want to take the time to actually engage on LinkedIn and keep it up to date. And LinkedIn also has a lot of sections. I think this calls it out, right? 50% of LinkedIn users don't fill out every section, guys. Like I said, if you come to LinkedIn, all these sections are available for you to fill. All these sections, your interests, your accomplishments, your recommendations, your skills, volunteer, right? If you don't show what you volunteered on, guys, so maybe you're volunteering as a mentor, which I do here, or you're volunteering as a coach, or you're volunteering as just in your neighborhood, or something that could really help you in your career, guys. You definitely want to highlight that within your LinkedIn profile. One other thing that you can also do is the section up here. You can add more sections or you can remove sections, again based on what you're trying to achieve, but you have to do the work, guys. 97% of recruiters, 97% of recruiters, based on the statistics that we looked at, 97% of recruiters use LinkedIn, guys. 97% is a lot. So you really want to, as part of your job search strategy or your career strategy, make sure you fill your LinkedIn profile. Everything that needs to be filled, fill it in, guys. You don't know who will look at your volunteer experience and really admire it and want you to have the job that you might be applying for, right? So make sure you definitely have that. So bear with me, got the phone ringing here, set that off. All right, so make sure that you really have your LinkedIn updated. Now the next thing that we're going to look at as part of this is now that you have everything set up, is going to the third piece is removing all buzzword. So this kind of seems like a cliche, but a lot of people that are writing resumes feel like buzzword is something that makes them stand out, but not necessarily, right? Like I'm strategic, I have leadership skills, I'm passionate, I'm enthusiastic, and things like that, right? I would not talk too much about it. I think it's pretty very self-evident, right? There are ways to articulate your skills on your LinkedIn profile without necessarily using all the buzzword. Like let's take for example being enthusiastic, right? What if you use other words like I'm spirited, I'm animated, right? Or let's take another example of, there was one that stood out to me here. that called my record or track record. You could talk about my credentials, documentation, or performance history. So there are ways that you can get past these buzzwords to actually directly showcase the skills that you have and stand out. I know some people might wanna, use the buzzwords like leadership because the search engine might be looking for that, and I can understand where you come from with that. But again, you can definitely still use that, but as you're describing yourself, right? Because LinkedIn does provide an entire paragraph where you can write about me, right? Mine doesn't show up here. Well, so there is an entire paragraph for you to write about me, and I keep updating this. I change it based on what the things that I learn and new skills that I pick up. But you want to take advantage of this is where your keywords are going. So for mine, you're seeing big data, machine learning, data science, advanced analytics, TOGAF, right? The open group architecture framework, data mining. Those are things that I care about, right? And those are things, that's my industry, that's my specialization. And so all of that are listed in here. All right, so you have to be very judicious about how you're writing this and the keywords that you're using, and avoiding the buzzwords. All right, so there is a pro tip in here. I'll let you read that for yourself. Another one is to be an adder. Guys, again, I really like these points because they all kind of reiterate each other, right? Be an adder, be a contributor, be somebody who that provides value when you're on LinkedIn. Do not be a fly on the wall. It's easy to just have a LinkedIn profile and never come to it for, until you're looking for a job. And then that's when most people come in and start trying to update their LinkedIn profile. For me, my LinkedIn profile is always up to date, right? I'm always engaging, and I'm always connecting, and I'm always building relationships and sharing articles, guys. So if you come to my profile, and I'll talk about this a little bit more. There is an area here called activity. Guys, you're always sharing activities, right? You want to always be somebody that engages. So as of today, I'm just commenting on somebody that I work with that got a job, right? Articles, I have my own fair share of articles and posts. I have my own fair share of posts out there, guys, and these are things that I care about. This one was talking about the state of AI report, and I liked it, and I'm sharing it just about a month ago. And so, if you come across my profile and I'm engaging with AI and I'm machine learning and things like that, right? That really starts, associating you with that domain or that area, and really helps you grow in your career long term. All right, so whatever it is you're working on, say assuming big data, assuming you're working to be a database administrator, or you want to be a help desk support person, or customer service, or you're trying to be a sales associate, whatever it is, guys, you can start really finding great content in your industry, sharing that, or creating content for yourself. Or if somebody shares content, engage with it, leave a comment, right? Leave a comment, leave some feedback. That's how you add value, guys. The people that just ignore posts, right, or the ones that are just leaving negative comments and such, are the ones that are not adding value, and it's not a good position to be in, right? So she gives an example of how somebody sharing a post, you can go in there, add some value, and it's really great. It's really great. All right, now the next thing is request smart. So I'm not sure. There used to be a way for LinkedIn, and if I click around, I'll find it. But where you can import your entire contacts library, or a list of contacts from like Gmail, and automatically create connections with them on LinkedIn. Guys, I'm not really a fan of doing that, because it's just like, you're just casting a net and hoping that something sticks. I'm more of the philosophy of being very targeted with my connections. So if you meet somebody at an event, right, you get their contact, you want to come back and add them as a connection. And LinkedIn gives you the option. Say if you see somebody and you're trying to add them as a connection, you can actually leave a personalized message. Why are you adding this person, right? How did I meet you? Why should I add you as a connection on LinkedIn? Or why should you accept my connection as a contact on LinkedIn, guys? Yeah, and you don't want to be vague. You want to be specific. For example, these are some examples that she gives, right? I saw you at this so and so recruiting company. I wanted to reach out to see if there are any opportunities for you, right? And that's the message. And she sees that you're connecting because you want to reach out to see if there are so and so opportunities. All right. So and there are several examples here that you can certainly take advantage of. So give a reason for the person why to why they should connect with you. I don't think anyone likes to wake up in the morning, sees a random stranger, sending them a connection request. They have no idea what that person wants, and you just expect them to accept it. All right. And even if people do, I don't think that that's really a great social skill to be putting forward, right? If you meet somebody and you're trying to connect with them, tell them why you're trying to connect with them. I think more people appreciate that than if you just, being generic and vague about what you're trying to accomplish. All right. And don't wait too long. If you meet somebody, you go to an event, or you would do working at a company, and you come across somebody at any engagement, don't come back and then wait 2 weeks or a month to then go and try to add that person on LinkedIn, because then you've lost that connection. At least you wouldn't be as strong as if I saw you today and tomorrow. Usually I try to do it the same night, right? If I go to an event, and I do a lot of meetups, I do a lot of seminars, or just events like AWS events, Microsoft events, and I meet somebody, if I cannot connect with them on the spot, guys, I will try to do it that same night. And LinkedIn, I wish I could do a video on this, and I might have to do a follow-up video that shows, especially on mobile. What I'm talking here is all on desktop, but on mobile, there is a capability within LinkedIn where you can find people that are around you, proximity with around you, and you can exchange contact by just using the mobile app, which I think is very, very powerful. I might make a video around that specifically to show it to people, just so that you can see and have some ideas around it. Again, very, very powerful. All right. Now, like I already mentioned this about importing contacts, do so selectively. It might seem like the best thing to just import your 500 contacts from Gmail and just add them on LinkedIn and have 500 contacts automatically. But to me, that's a lazy approach, right? I think you can do better, right? Not everybody on your email might want to connect with you on LinkedIn, or should even connect with you on LinkedIn. And so you definitely want to exercise some judgment around doing that. The capability is there, but guys, just exercise your own judgment to do that. The question is, would you appreciate it if everybody starts importing their Gmail contact and adding you as a LinkedIn contact, which you don't necessarily want? So, just think about it that way, and then exercise some judgment before you do that. All right. Now, the next piece that we're looking at here is join a network greater than your own. So what LinkedIn does is, or one of the things that are available within LinkedIn, is the idea of groups. So LinkedIn does provide groups, and groups are a way for people of shared experiences and common interests to interact, right? And you can create a group, or you can join other groups. So I have quite a few groups here. So let's just take an example for this one. The TOGAF for architecture, TOGAF standing for the Open Group Architecture Framework, which I'm a part of. All right. So now I can engage here. I can see people talking about TOGAF and the architecture frameworks that are coming out. And if something in particular interests me here, I can learn, I can share articles from here. So I can really engage and be part of this community, right? Because professionally, I have an interest in TOGAF, right? From an architecture perspective, being an architect, being a sales engineer, consultant, and such, right? So this is something that interests me, and that's why I'm part of the group. And for you, you can think about groups that make sense for you, right? So let's say, again, I use DBA a lot. Let's say DBA is something that you really care about, and that's your interest, right? Why not find groups around DBA, or find groups around particular technologies like IoT, NoSQL, right? Big data, Hadoop, right? Spark, right? You can always find groups around those specific areas and join them and really learn and engage and be part of it, right? They say birds of the same feather flock together, right? So you want to find where the birds that you are interested in are flocking, and then go there and be part of it. And you do so by joining groups, by identifying and joining the right groups. All right. Now, the next thing that we're going to look at as well, that is talked about in this article, is and you can read all the details here for the group, is to test your LinkedIn profile picture, right? We all know the saying that a picture is worth a thousand words. So people make a lot of decisions based on the pictures that they see, and your LinkedIn profile has a very valuable real estate, and this real estate is your profile picture that shows up here. You have to decide what you want to show up here, right? I change mine constantly, so depending on when you're watching this video, I might not have the same picture, but you definitely want something that looks a little bit professional, right? And something that stands out. in there. And then in addition, your title too should really be captivating and stand out. What I like in this post is she provides talks about this photo filler. I've never tried this before, but apparently it's a way, or it's a service or a site where you can upload a bunch of photos, right? And then people can vote and you can choose which photo makes the most sense. And then now you can use that photo for your LinkedIn profile. And the whole idea is, a lot of people might have a hard time choosing which photo to use, right? I might have 5 or 6 different photos as options for me to use here, but which one is the optimal one, right? Which one do people really find more interesting, guys? And I'm not vouching or endorsing this service in any way, but what I'm just simply articulating here is that's an example that she provided, where you can upload some photos and it can, people can vote for it. And then once you see the result and what people really like, and then that's where you have an idea of which photo to use, right? And then there's a tip here of pick photos where the picture is taken from the bottom, right? So you're kind of facing up because it kind of seems a little bit more authoritative. So you don't want to take pictures where the shot is taken from the top down. You want to probably take something that the shot is taken more from the bottom angle. It seems more authoritative as well. All right, so do put in some effort into choosing your profile picture. If you have a means, pay for somebody to take a picture, or find a decent camera, a DSLR, and take a picture that looks a little bit professional, guys. I can tell you how, a lot of people wing this, right? Depending on what kind of persona you're trying to project, right? Depending on what kind of persona you're trying to project, you definitely want to choose a picture that reflects that persona. All right, so you definitely want to choose a picture that reflects that persona that you're trying to project. All right, so let's move on from pictures. Make someone's day on LinkedIn, right? Make someone's day on LinkedIn. This is very short. I think I can talk about this really quickly. So on LinkedIn, right, people are sharing content, right? So for example, this person took some time and some effort to write whatever they're writing here, right? And talking about the post that's open. Or this person took some time to create this content and put it out here, right? So instead of just looking, why not engage, right? If you really like this, then like it and engage with it and share it. Believe me, people are excited or people like to be engaged with. No one wants to put the post out and get 0 likes or 0 engagement on it. And so you can play a role in making someone's day. So like you can see, let me go back to my activities here for a second. You can see this individual that I'm talking about here just recently got a job and promotion, and there am I in the comment section a couple hours ago putting a congratulations, right? And I'm sure this person will be very happy to see that. And so and if that was me that got a promotion and people leave that, I'll also be happy to see it. So you have to go with that mindset of reciprocating. We've talked a lot about this, right? So take the time, take the effort to make someone's day, right? And people would always want to make your own day too when your time comes. All right. I like this idea of jab jab right hook. You want to give before you receive. I think society sometimes we get caught up into always wanting to receive without wanting to give, right? People can't just wake up and engage and wish somebody a happy birthday or like somebody's thing. Like you see again, this is another individual that shared a video for the defense of their PhD actually, and I'm there liking it. I already like that, right? And it makes him happy. And if I share my stuff, I'm also definitely excited if other people can go ahead and like it. So take the time to make someone's day on LinkedIn. All right, what goes around comes around. And so if you do that, people are gonna always reciprocate that. Encourage efficiency. And the whole idea for this is very short and straightforward. I think I'm going to encourage efficiency by talking about this, right? Where instead of, you have the option of just putting text and just putting content and overwhelming everybody. But if you have the means to streamline something, show just statistics, right? Instead of an entire 50,000 word post, if you can just give a few statistics or highlights of what's important, people really care about it, right? So let's say you have a link that is very interesting and you want to share. Instead of just taking the link and posting and sharing it, why don't you share the link, of course, but maybe highlight what in that link was relevant, so that people can just get that idea without losing a lot of time. So in that case, you're going a long way to, promoting efficiency, encouraging efficiency, and I'm sure that's what everybody values, right? I don't have, or most people don't have, 40 hours a day. That's not even feasible. But we don't have eternity just to go scrolling around LinkedIn to read every single article we come across. And so if you can do the work, if you can go in and do the work of summarizing what it is, or if within a particular article that interests you, for example, right, people would really, really, really appreciate that. So don't just be, don't be lazy. That's basically the bottom line. Make sure if there's something important, if there's a way you can put it very briefly, right? Like, it talks about, individuals who crafted posts that were 150 characters or fewer received an 18% increase in their engagement. Again, bear with me for the phone ringing here. Receive an 80% increase in engagement rate compared to others. All right. So, brevity is priceless these days, right? People don't have time. So keep it brief. Keep it brief. All right. Now, another one is to optimize your LinkedIn audience. Especially if you look, again, people might use LinkedIn for different reasons, right? You might be using it to grow your industry, to establish yourself, to find clients, to get a new job, whatever it is. And that those motivations can change depending on the phase in which you are in your career, right? So you always want to make sure that you go in and you optimize your profile for the objective, right? So say if you're looking for a job right now, I'm not looking for a job, but if I was in the market, I might want to make one or two tweaks here to indicate that I'm currently in the market and I'm looking for a job. All right. And you definitely have to go in and make those changes in order to reflect your intentions. Let's say if you're a freelancer and your goal is to find customers using LinkedIn, the way you're gonna target or write up your LinkedIn will be a little bit different than from, say, an established or a seasoned executive that's just looking to push out or project credibility and power to vendors or to other people that they might be interacting with, right? Or say you might be in sales and you're looking for potential clients. The way you put out your LinkedIn might be a little bit different. So don't wing this, guys. So take the time, right? Make sure that you take the time to update your LinkedIn. And as also, I think they talk about it here. And let me just give me a second to get this on the screen. It also talks about make sure you take some time, again, depending on your objective, to include some contact information on your LinkedIn profile. Because let's say if I come on LinkedIn and I'm looking at this profile and I might decide that, sure, I really like Mr. Fru here and I want to reach out to him, guys. I do have my contact information here, for anybody that wants to reach out to me on LinkedIn, on my email, on Twitter, right, on SlideShare, on website. So there are ways for people to reach out to me. And if you want people to reach out to you, guys, make sure you go ahead and you leave out the contact information. If you don't want people to reach out to you, then definitely don't put out the contact information. So it just has to depend on what you're looking for. All right, guys. Now focus on your industry. I think we've already made this point above, guys. So again, LinkedIn, this is not a place to board the ocean. You cannot afford to board the ocean. Like if you come to my profile, is you can clearly see the things that interest me, right? Data, IoT, analytics, cloud, serverless, AI, and big data, right? Not in here, you wouldn't see swing dancing, or you don't see scuba diving, or you don't see whatever you might, or project management, because that's not my area. That's not what I'm into. All right. And so you really want to optimize your LinkedIn profile to indicate the industries that you care about. And you can also do so based on the companies that you follow or the types of people that you follow, right? Like here, Microsoft, Oracle, Jack Welch, from a leadership perspective, which is something I really care a lot about. So you can really use LinkedIn and optimize it for your interests as well. And this goes into giving you some tips on how to do that, including images, talking about your passion and things like that. How much or how little to talk about it, adding examples. So very, very powerful thing to keep in mind. I'll encourage you to read the full article to see what she talks about there. All right. All right, guys. So the other one that also comes up is don't give, don't take, right? That idea of, jab, 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 right hook, right? You can't expect to receive if you haven't given. So make sure that you're somebody that provides value. That way you can receive value. All right. So and she talks about some statistics here, and that's what you'll find a lot in this article, where she really does some good research and good work citing statistics. And a lot of people are willing to help other people that have helped them in the past, right? And for people that just, let me just read it down. For people that are just takers, that just want to receive and consume information, and that might be you on LinkedIn, right? If all you do on LinkedIn is just to read, and you've never shared an article, guys, I don't know how successful that strategy is. And this is part of what she calls out in here. So you definitely want to be somebody that receives, of course, but somebody that also gives, right? So I think the world is a better place if people reciprocate the gestures that they get. Otherwise, they say people get in debt when reciprocity is not met, right? So you don't want to be in debt, right? You don't want to start not holding your own bargain of meeting reciprocity. So if you're reading a lot of great article, guys, you can do a good job of finding articles and being able to share it with your own network, with your own community. All right, now we're kind of coming towards the end here. It's about being masterful or masterful networking, right? Ultimately, LinkedIn is about relationships. LinkedIn is about relationships. Like with any relationships, we can go through and give you 100 tactics, 100 tips, 100 best practices, but all of those are going to mean absolutely nothing. Zero. Zip is gonna mean nothing if you cannot put it into practice as a human being, right? As a human being, I'm not talking about as a robot or as a machine, right? So this is not some back in the day. I remember with search engine optimization, people would stuff their HTML or CSS code with keywords to rank up and things like that. To me, that doesn't really work, right? We're talking about relationships here. We're talking about connecting to people. We're talking about I think I saw it somewhere. I have over 2,000 going and growing followers and connections. These are real people. These are people that I've worked with. These are people that I've met at an event or so, right? And guys, you want to treat it as a relationship. That's valuable, because if I'm looking for a job, guess what? I might be reaching out to a connection within my LinkedIn network to provide me a reference, and I'll definitely value that. And those will be individuals that know me to do that. And so you have to really be judicious about what you do and avoid gimmick and avoid or any crazy stuff that you might start thinking about, right? Because I think that authenticity, being authentic, wins in the long run, right? There's no need to fake and do gimmicks and do all of that. I can't even think of any right now, but if there's something that somebody's thinking about to rank up on LinkedIn or to get more likes on their posts, or that, to me, that's just a losing strategy. So just understand that this is relationships. This is about people that you might potentially know, that might potentially know you and in the real world, and you want to treat it as such. Guys, you want to treat it as such. Some of the things that she talks about here in the article is, if someone is having a new job, congratulate them. That's why I go ahead and I congratulate Vinny. One of the things that I do every new year, I'm not going to go into my messages to show that just for the sake, but every new year I go through my list of LinkedIn contacts, and I send out Christmas greetings to hundreds of people, right? And I sit down and I customize it. Sometimes I customize it, sometimes it might be a little bit generic, but still, somebody just waking up and receiving a Christmas greeting or holiday seasons greetings from me is very powerful, and it keeps that relationship. Now, if I wait to need this person and I reach out to say, hey, by the way, I'm changing careers, or I need help getting in touch with somebody at this company, can you help me, right? People are more inclined to do it. But if you treat LinkedIn as something where you just add people to your connection and forget about it until you need them, that's not a winning strategy. Guys, it's not a winning strategy. In life, you don't just have neighbors and forget about them, right? You say hi to them, you greet them, you visit them, and you spend time with them, right? And so LinkedIn is that way. For those connections to be valuable, you have to make it valuable, right? Otherwise, the connection is just going to wane and fade away or be useless, all right? So congratulate people. And I like the tips that she provides here. If you travel to a new city, take a time, go on LinkedIn, find people that are in that city that you are. If I'm in New York, Find people that are in New York, send a message to them, say, hey, by the way, Joe, I'm in New York, or hey, Mary, I stopped by New York, how are you doing? Want to stop by for coffee and catch up? It's been a while, right? And people would appreciate that. People care about relationships, and they'll appreciate that. And you want to be the connector. You want to be the person that forges those connections, right? I'm sure you can sit back and say, but why would I have to do it? Other people should do it and reach out to me. Well, that's one way to look at it, right? But do you want to build your career based on what other people do, or based on what you can do, or what you have in control over you, right? I think that's an easy answer to say. All right. So be a professional matchmaker. Be somebody that creates relationships. Introduce other people. You meet somebody that might be looking for something. You know somebody else that might have that thing that they're looking for. Why not just send a message, do an introduction, and say, hey, Joe, I know you're looking for so and so software. By the way, Mary works at this company. You guys might like to know each other and talk to see if that something can come out of it. Guys, those are roles that you can play. If there's some information, share it, pass along that information, right? We live in an information age, guys. The people that are gonna win in this age are not the people that hoard information, right? Are not the people that have things that they share, keep only to themselves and never share it to anybody else. All right, the ones that win are the ones that are able to have great information. They share it, they engage with it, and they grow that way. All right, so make sure that you're able to be authentic in your relationships, and you be masterful in your networking. All right, I might make some videos just really zeroing in on networking, but until then, guys, I hope that this just inspires you to just say, hey, if you've ignored your LinkedIn profile for a while, go back and check it out, guys. Go back and check it out. Warren Buffett, I keep saying this in a lot of my videos. Warren Buffett once said it: your network is your net worth, right? If you want to be rich, guys, know rich people. You don't know who's gonna help you tomorrow with that job that you're looking for, with the reference that you might need, right? With that positive feedback that you might need, right? So definitely treat your LinkedIn as such, right? And there's another feature here. I haven't used this much, but she calls it out, of relevant features. You can use this to kind of have some inside look into your profile, where you can see other people that are similar to you in your industry. So as you start tailoring your LinkedIn profile, for example, this lady that wrote this post, if you look at people that view her, they also viewed top leaders in the industry. All right, so it might be something that you can do on your profile as well, to see what people are similar people are looking at in your industry, right? And if it's off, right, let's say you're trying to be a DBA and you realize that the people that are similar to you that are popping up are musicians, then there is a problem, right? There's a disconnect there, and you might want to make one or two changes or do something about it. So something very powerful. All right, so great, guys. Overall, really like it. You can look at the summary here, but let's just go back and do a recap. I think this was a very powerful for LinkedIn, right? Your network is your net worth. So LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to build a very strong professional network that can help you in your career for a very long time. All right, so post thematic updates, we talked about that. Be a strategic liker. Make your profile more than a resume, right? Your profile is a living thing. It's a living, breathing thing. You need to always keep up to date more than your resume. Remove all buzzwords. Be an adder. Be a value adder. Be somebody that contributes. Don't be a fly on the wall. Request smart, guys. Connect with people that want to connect with you, or you can't just afford to cast the net and hope that something sticks. Be very smart and judicious with who you connect with. Join network that are greater than your own. Very powerful. Birds of the same feathers flock together. So you want to find networks that relate to your industry, relate to your career, relate to your ambitions, and be part of those networks, right? Test your profile. A solid profile can go a long way in making your a profile picture can go a long way in making your profile stand out, right? It's always said a picture is worth 1,000 words. Make someone's day on LinkedIn. Engage, right? Engagement is the name of the game, guys. If you cannot engage with others are really not going to engage with you. Encourage efficiency. Be brief, be succinct. Help other people be efficient. Summarize what you have to say, right? Keep it short, keep it brief, right? Optimize your audience. Focus on your industry. Don't take too much. Don't take or don't give, right? If you give, you receive. You don't expect to receive if you're not giving. Use LinkedIn as a means of networking and be masterful about it. LinkedIn is about people. These are people we're talking about. These are people in your network. These are not fans and not followers. No, these are actual connections, and that's why LinkedIn use the terms connections. You're connected to these people, right? These are not your fans, or these are not just people that choose to follow you. I believe there's a concept of following, but if you treat it as connections, and if you treat it as relationships, then you're gonna be very judicious of how you manage and grow and nurture those relationships, so that you can provide value to others, and others have the opportunity to provide value to you. All right. And then other piece is check out who is relevant people. Are you connected to them? And maybe build yourself into relevancy. Ultimately, guys, I don't think anybody was born into this world or has an ambition to be irrelevant, right? We all aspire to be irrelevant for something, to provide value for something. And by doing a lot of these steps, you can help build yourself relevancy up to the people that you admire at this point. All right, guys, thanks for watching. This was a great video. I thought it was very powerful. LinkedIn is really becoming one of the most essential tools for nurturing, for building your career in technology. I hope this provides value to you guys. So make sure you go out. If you haven't been paying attention to your LinkedIn profile, definitely check it out, guys. You cannot afford to ignore it. And I'll leave you with the picture that we saw a little bit earlier at the beginning of this post. I think I put that away. All right, I have it. I put it away. But it talks about 97% of recruiters. 97% of recruiters use LinkedIn for finding candidates. You don't want to be missing out on that, guys. It's a huge opportunities, and this article provides you some really good tips to optimize your LinkedIn profile for success down the road. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share it with somebody that might find this valuable. And if you have any interesting read you want me to go over in my next video, please leave it in the comment section below. I'll definitely check it out, and really appreciate you joining us today, and I'll see you next time.